Get mystic as we look into Barry's crystal ball. Begin.
Power Move Pro Wrestling was originally released in Japan under the name Tokan Retsudan, and it was one of the most exciting and one of the most successful PSX games in Japan.
Before bringing it out in the United States, we wanted to localize it and make sure that the music, the sound effects, the crowd, the wrestlers would all appeal to our American market.
Like all the great fighting games, you can pick many different characters to play from. There are 14 different wrestlers, and they all have their own unique abilities and their own unique special moves. Moves like pile drivers, neck breakers, body slams, reversals, everything you see in a great pro wrestling match, you'll see in Power Move Pro Wrestling. You can play other players at the same console. It's a great two-player game, or you can play one player against AI computer-generated characters.
I think the best part of Power Move Pro Wrestling is that it's pure 3D. It's real 3D characters in a 3D ring.
Power Move Pro Wrestling actually motion captured some of the best pro wrestlers in the world and took that data and extrapolated it into the CG characters, so you really feel like you're playing a pro wrestler when you're playing Power Move Pro Wrestling. The game developers developed a multiple viewpoint camera where you can control the viewpoint so you can see the real benefit of doing some of these amazing moves on your opponents.
Power Move Pro Wrestling is the ultimate wrestling game. There's never been a wrestling game like it. There's never been a wrestling game that can compare to it. And our players are going to love it.
You spin me right round, Drew, right round like a record, baby. Well, enough of this cheesy 80s music because it's time to get with the gaming action. Tonight we have Robotron X. This is a remake of that great old shoot 'em up, which was actually the predecessor to Smash TV. We also have Soviet Strike. This one looks like a lot of fun and is the latest of a long line of Strike games by EA. And last but not least, for our main review this evening, we have Star Gladiators. This is a 3D beat 'em up by Capcom, which looks absolutely superb. But now, Drew, you're making me dizzy.
Star Gladiator.
Like Gypsies and Thieves, games don't hang about in arcades much anymore. Mere months after its cabinet debut, Star Gladiators gets an airing on the PlayStation, kicking the earthbound theme of most beat-em-ups into touch. Capcom's first stab at 3D presents the avid fan with a host of characters from beyond the stars. Meet Zelkin, the man with the beak, renowned for his spectacular flying skills. Or maybe try Rimgal, the hybrid dinosaur who backs up his razor-sharp teeth with a bumper-sized club. Even the traditional Japanese character, Hayato, isn't stupid enough to fight in such exotic company without an energy sword at his side. For their first foray into the world of polygons, Capcom has developed the strangely named Plasma Combination System, using which players can unleash a chain of up to 5 hits that ends with the knee-trembling Plasma Final, where your hapless prey is defeated in true cinematic style.
Capcom's new 3D beat-em-up on the PlayStation is awesome. The first thing that you notice about this is the actual characters. They are all so different and got so many good moves. You've got a green cone-headed guy who's got a yo-yos which he uses to hit people with. You've got a guy, an eagle flying man who can fly up into the air and hawk down on people. And there's a lot of good moves in it. I really, really like this.
Yeah, it's Capcom's first ever 3D beat-em-up, because they're normally associated for their 2D ones like Street Fighter and Children of the Atom. But this 3D beat-em-up is trying to take on Namco, and it really works. They've gone for a futuristic theme, which is not something we've seen an awful lot of. We've seen some very poor versions of that sort of thing in the past, but this one is superb. The characters are very well defined, as you can expect from the company that brought you Street Fighter 2. And also the actual moves and the plasma combos are fantastic. There's one where a giant lizard bloke grabs his opponent by the nads and bites them off. Superb. I mean, what can you say? It's great.
Oh.
15 years is a long time in the world of computerised violence, and those of you of a tender age will completely fail to understand the orgy of hair-pulling and weeping that normally accomplishes the word Robotron. But here's your chance to succumb to one of the most devilishly addictive shoot-'em-ups of all time, because our hero is now kicking robotic rear end in 3 dimensions. The premise is wonderfully simple. You play a bald-headed little maniac surrounded on all sides by homicidal androids, hell-bent on stamping on your head. To progress to the next level, all you need to do is eradicate every last one of them. As you dart around the 3D arena, you can fire in 4 directions, each direction controlled by a separate button on your PlayStation pad. This means you can flee in one direction whilst firing behind you, or wipe out entire waves of silicon nasties as you move around the screen.
You remember Robotron, that game you played in the arcades when you had a spare 10 pence in your pocket, because it was available in about 1977. You were a little bloke and you had to shoot robots. That was it. It was very, very basic. Now, 2 Scottish blokes in Scotland have actually programmed a brand new version. Basically, they wanted to work for Williams. Williams said, well, go away, show us what you can do, but use one of our templates, one of our games as a template. Of course, Robotron was there, so hence Robotron X. This time, though, it's exactly the same sort of game, where you're in a little arena and you're a little bloke, and you have to run around with robots attacking you and you have to rescue people, but this time it's all 3D, Rav.
As well as being 3D, it is so much faster. I'm talking, this is fast and frantic. And I really enjoyed playing this. I mean, the old game, I really enjoyed playing that one. This, for me, you know, is just like a revisit to the good olden days. And I would highly recommend this one.
It's also got absolutely thousands of levels. But if you get anywhere near the thousands of levels, then you'll find out it's extraordinarily tough. And sometimes you're just running around, you'll blindly, aimlessly wander into a bad guy. So, but nonetheless, superb.
Thumbs up.
Never being afraid to trample all over politically sensitive issues, Electronic Arts has transported their top helicopter pilots from the original mission in the Gulf to the former Soviet Union to deal with a strange resurgence of Red Menace. Some people in Russia, it seems, are terribly bored with peace, especially the inscrutable Shadow Man, a former general who misses the Cold War and is collecting weapons in a misguided attempt to bring back the good old days. You take on the role of the finest madman deterrent in the United Nations and must complete over 40 objectives in 5 zones of the Great Red Continent. Your task of the day can vary from infiltrating the enemy camp and rescuing hostages to simply shooting all and sundry with the usual roundup of weaponry. The game also features a live battlefield, which involves sudden plot changes being triggered at different points in the game. This can mean anything from the enemy acquiring a devastating new weapon of war to a particularly unexpected shower of rain.
I buy it. You've got a crisis.
It's not often I get an opportunity to say chopper very loudly on this show, and there you go. That's the one time I think I ever will do. But Soviet Strike is superb because it's the PlayStation update of the old Jungle Strike, Desert Strike and Urban Strike games. So this time you fly around a little helicopter, it's 3D. You actually sort of like see yourself from behind this time instead of isometrically, and you've got fantastically rendered backgrounds and backdrops. It's all mission based and it's great, Rav.
It's absolutely superb, just like the other games. It's so playable and it can get really tense in some situations. It's such a slickly polished title, it really is good. The FMV is superb. A lot of the actual missions, you are briefed on them by an FMV sequence. You've got guys that offer you help, and basically it is superb. I really cannot say any more about this.
It's a bit like the old Strike games on the Mega Drive, set with the Command and Conquer style presentation, and that, for me, just makes it a completely perfect game. So, Rav, it's got to be.
And remember, if you do not think, you will not win.
My huge sack is literally heaving heaving and a swelling this week under the sheer amount of goodies to be given away. Kate, what have we got inside?
We've got all the usual t-shirts, games, goodies, you name it, it's in there. It's in Barry's bag.
It is indeed, but this week it has a tenuous Christmas link attached just for you. To win my bumper bundle of Christmas goodies, all you have to do is answer this very simple question. In the video game Wipeout 2097, one of our favourites there, features a single by a very, very popular pop group. Was it A, Give It Away Now by the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Was it B, Firestarter by Prodigy? Or was it C, Grandma We Love You by the St. Winifred's School Choir? I like that song, don't you?
It's great.
It's nice. Do you remember? Grandma, we love you. Oh, look at you, little Jews getting all festive. If you think you know, you can stop now, Drew. Thank you. He likes his jiggling around, doesn't he?
Does like
If you think you know the answer, please send it into the address we'll give you at the end of the show. And the first correct answer out of the mailbag will win the entire lot. But now we're going to get festive together as we launch into a lovely commercial break.
Ooh.